Ring my doorbell.
Yeah.
And they just hide in the potted plants over there on the outside.
All right, and a happy New Year to everybody. You are listening to another episode of the Emily podcast. And in case you're wondering, no, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is still our nerdy Christmas tree in the back. We still like to leave the holiday decorations up just a bit, so we haven't taken down Christmas. And Becca still hasn't gone out of the Christmas mood, have you, Becca?
Well, I mean, I have so many pajamas that I'm still wearing my, I have a Merry Christmas pajama set on right now. I guess I'm giving it away that we do these things in our pajamas.
Oh, no. It's all, I try to maintain business up front and then just leisure down below.
Yeah.
But it's the new year, Becca, and I mean, things are just getting underway, right?
They are, yeah. Brand new year. Yeah, New Year's resolutions. Are you gonna do New Year's resolutions this year, Josh?
Yeah, and I'll keep them all for about maybe a month or so. And how about you, Rebecca?
I mean, there's definitely goals, things I want to accomplish. I think this time of year is like, it's just a time of year to really think about like goals. What do you want to accomplish?
Right.
I don't like doing the New Year's resolution kind of thing. It's more of like, okay, let's look at a year in the review. How was last year? Did I like what choices I made in the past year? What choices do I want to make moving forward? Are there things that I want to accomplish throughout the year, and kind of make a plan that way? Looking at kind of like breaking up the big goals into smaller goals and then working towards achieving those. So I don't really like the term New Year's resolution because it's like you'll stick to that for a month and then, it doesn't really last. I know what's funny is most of the gym memberships are all around, January, and then it comes about February. Some people are still hanging on.
Yeah.
But by the time March comes around, back to normal.
Yeah, everybody turns into Chandler out about March.
Yeah.
I want to quit the gym.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, we thought there was no better way than to start off the new year than with a guest. We love having guests on the show, and we have another author with us. So please welcome Elisabeth Warner to the podcast.
Hi. Hey, good. How are you?
Doing well. We're doing great. Have you made any New Year's resolutions, or do you do that type of thing, or do you use like goals like Becca does?
I kind of do more goals, especially after this last year. It was kind of all up in the air. So I think I'm going to do more like intentions this year. Like, what do I, hope to accomplish this year? Just because, things are so unpredictable these days. So, yeah.
Yeah. I like that phrase that, what are your intentions for the year? I like that. Some people even do like, what's the word of the year? Just kind of like a word, I guess, to meditate on. My mom does that sometimes. It's been different things like wisdom and peace and different characteristics. So yeah.
I've done that in the past too.
Nice.
Especially as a writer too. I like, I love words. So
yeah. Are there any like specific like prompts that you like want to focus on or something with your like writing process?
You mean like in the new year?
Yeah.
Not exactly. No. I mean, I kind of want to just have like a grateful attitude in general, like just have more of a positive attitude. So yeah, I guess that's going to reflect in my writing as well as my life. Just, having more grateful attitude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think we should all have a grateful attitude.
Gratitude's amazing.
There's just so many things that you can choose to be. Well, this happened, so I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be depressed. And not that you can't feel that, but I mean, you can control, how you react to things. And the more gratitude and the more positive you are, the better. That's going to shine through to other people.
Oh yeah, I know that'll that'll come up again later in our conversation. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about actually.
Oh, great.
Is gratitude. So, ooh.
Perfect.
But first, we're going to have our audience get to know Elizabeth a little bit better. So, Rebecca, go ahead with our interview.
Yeah, so we usually like to start off with, it's a very broad question, but just kind of give us an overview of your life, your writing. How did you get into writing? Anything like that. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually have a lot of experience with different types of writing. I've done blog posts. I've done SEO content writing, editing. I've even done like writing consulting. But of course, my favorite is novel writing. So my love for writing actually started when I was 6 years old. I won an award for writing a poem about panda bears. So as a prize, I got a book, like a children's book. And when I just looked at the cover and I just thought, I can write a book like this. I just thought I would love to write a book. And since I love to read, I would love to write a book that would, that other kids would love to read too. So throughout, my time in school and everything, I kind of realized that novel writing doesn't make a lot of money. So I was thinking to myself, like, what can I do? How can I do writing like more as a career? So actually, when I was in college, I started working at my college's writing center, and I loved just encouraging other writers, especially, college students who, don't want to do essays and stuff like that. So it was great just encouraging them, finding like, things that I liked about their story to encourage them. And I actually ended up getting a job working, doing SEO content writing. So I really enjoyed that. And now in this season, I actually just became a mom a couple of years ago. And so I've, quit my job and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I've just found more time to do novel writing. So I've been focusing on that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And for people who don't know, what is SEO writing?
So it's search engine optimization. And basically it's writing articles and blog posts, social media posts, things like that, that help your website and your company rank better on search engine pages.
That's so many, such different writing from there's like novel writing and, this SEO writing, it's totally different. So you have to be like really versatile in how you do that. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
To have those skills. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So speaking of writing, where do you get your inspiration for writing from? Where does that come from? For novels, I guess, more specifically.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, obviously the Bible, is definitely a big inspiration, and topics from there. Current events, because I tend to write, like dystopian sci-fi, fiction. So, I'll look at current events and things like that. And I always usually, when I write novels, I kind of ask like a what if question, and answer from there.
Okay. What if, I don't know, all malls shut down or something? Or I don't know, what are your what if questions?
So exactly. So, I mean, just to lead into my talking about my book, the book series that I wrote, it started with, what if we were all dependent on the internet, and then the internet shut down, and now we all have to interact with each other?
That's a big question too.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
What would happen if we actually had to talk to each other?
Right. Yeah. And it's really relevant for now. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Social interaction.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like today we just it's all like text, just text. Even at work, I sit away from the coworker who's like 5 feet away, and we don't talk. We just message on Teams. That's brought the whole new antisocial interaction to a new low for me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I did that with a coworker as well a couple days ago, where it's I could literally call out and be like, "Hey, how'd that thing go for you? Because need help with that?" and still, it's typing.
It's good.
So to tell us a little bit more about your book, what is the general premise other than your what if question?
Yeah, so my book is called In Real Life. It's a character-driven dystopian novel. It's about a woman who lives alone, but basically doesn't need anybody because she's dependent on the internet, and she has her AI system. And then the internet shuts down, and she realizes she needs people, and she really needs people because the Liberty Party is arresting people for questionable social media activity, and she's like at the top of their list of people they're looking for. And so it's convenient because her ex-husband is a hacker and he is able to rescue her. He brings her to this off-the-grid community, and she basically learns how to make friends. There are other people there in hiding, and so she makes friends with them, and she basically gets healing from her past. And it's very character-driven. I know it's definitely, my main character is definitely a relatable character. So, yeah.
Sounds like there might be a romantic aspect of the story.
Yes, totally unintentional. Actually, when I first wrote this story, I did not want there to be any love interest just because, like, I feel like a lot of stories have love interest. So I'm like, let's try not to do that. But, just because the story is about human interaction, of course, there's going to be some, reconciliation. We'll find out if they get back together. You'll see. You have to find out.
As soon as you said ex-husband, I was like, I wonder.
Yep, you'll find out.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about your book. It kind of reminds me of, are you an anime fan?
Not really, to be honest with you.
Well, for those who are that are listening, that the storyline, it kind of reminds me in a way of Zom 100. I know it's a zombie movie or zombie anime, but it's all about connection, I think, anyway. It's about human connection and like, what do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish with your life and connecting to the world? So it's this guy who's he's in a very toxic work environment with a boss that is extremely manipulative and all the worst, terrible things. They're bullies. So he becomes a zombie at work, basically, and like shuts out all of his friends. And then all of a sudden it's a zombie attack. And he's like, I'm free. And he's like so happy that all these zombies came and he's free now. And anyway, he start to connect with people again. And it's good. It's a good show. Normally I don't like zombie things. I'm not a zombie fan. But this one's nice because they use what's nice because it's like, that hand-drawn, art. They make the blood different colors. So it's very colorful. It's like the rainbow color. So you're like, oh, that's not really blood, then gory, it's fine. Not that I don't have a huge problem with that, but anyway. But yeah, your story kind of reminded me of that. But on that note, we did want to see what are your top 5, if you can pick them, animated movies or TV shows or books, either way.
Or a combination of all three.
Or all of the above. We love stories.
Oh, great. So, personally, I didn't really watch a lot of anime growing up. The only one I can come up with was Pokemon because, Pokemon's great. But my favorite books, my top 5 favorite books, I just want to ask, does it have to be animated books?
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No, books like with like illustrations in them. Like obviously I have some on.
I was like, how do you have animated books? Okay.
All right.
It's like in the Page Master where they all come to life.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Okay, yeah. So my favorite books, I have a little an eclectic mix. Piercing the Darkness by Frank Peretti. Called to Create. It's a nonfiction by Jordan Rayner. It's really encouraging for people who like to create. Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. Yeah, it makes me cry. This was kind of based on what made me cry or what made me just really excited. So, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, a children's book classic, and Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, another children's book classic.
I was going to say, I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's the kids' book about the alphabets that climb up the coconut tree.
Oh, I don't think I've ever read that one, but I know the name.
Yeah. I can see the cover.
Yeah. That is a very eclectic
it is,
grouping of things. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Redeeming Love. So good. Did you end up going to see the movie when it came out?
I actually didn't know, but I just read the book and I cried honestly at every page. So I feel like the movie's going to make me cry too.
Yes, I will say maybe I just like expected more from it, but it's kind of lacking. So
Oh,
like you haven't really missed anything if you decide not to ever watch it.
okay.
But
Thanks for the
that's
heads
just
up.
my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is it missed the a lot of the inner dialogue of Michael, right? He was the main guy, I think. Yeah, it missed a lot of his inner dialogue, and like that's super important. So he
Mm-hmm.
kind of looks like a crazy person in the movie, just like
Ugh,
doing all
yeah.
of these things, and you're like, I don't know. Like there, he has a reason. I know he does, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's a side note.
Speaking of children's books, with a Give Mouse a Cookie and Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, we'll actually be discussing a kids movie, which is not really different from any other week, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll be actually discussing a Disney movie. We love Disney movies, the old, the new, the sometimes newer. Not so much the newer, especially the live action. No, none of those.
Oh, you mean like the classics that they've turned into live action?
Yes, yes.
The ones that aren't actually live action.
We know you're
because they're CGI.
Yes. But today, Elizabeth has picked Meet the Robinsons.
Which I'm so glad you did. It has
yes.
been a really long time since I've seen this.
Same here.
So good.
Now, Rebecca, will you give us just a quick synopsis for those who may have not seen Meet the Robinsons?
Yeah, so Meet the Robinsons takes place as there's a kid named Lewis who grew up in an orphanage. He was left by his mom on the steps of the orphanage, and he is a very nerdy, science-oriented kid who loves to invent things. And he decides to make this invention where he will be able to see his mom's face because he knew that he's so smart. He was like, I saw her when I was a baby. So he like made these headphones and he's gonna like put it on the screen, this memory so he can see what his mom looked like. And because he's obsessed with how, like, why did she leave him? And, lots of questions that kids who are orphans ask. Anyway, so shenanigans ensue. Comes to find out there's this kid who comes in a time machine and they end up going to the future and the time machine breaks and Lewis has to fix it because he's the only inventor, scientist person. And so he has to go and fix it. Anyway, he ends up meeting this family and he's like, wow, family, I want a family. And so yeah, it's all about his journey in how he finds this family and what goes on and how does he get back to the past. So yeah, would you add anything else to that, Elizabeth?
Only if I'm allowed to say spoilers, because I did like a lot. I just basically liked a lot of the connections between like the past and the future. So, or the present and the future.
Yes. Here now, if you haven't watched Meet the Robinsons, there will be massive spoilers. So if you care about that and you want to go watch it, I mean, it came out in 2007. So there's a lot of people that probably have seen it, but yeah, we will. It's okay to say spoilers. I guess I could have said that in my little synopsis, but oh well. But yeah, it does matter. It does matter.
So, Elizabeth, why did you choose this movie in particular?
So, well, this is my favorite animated movie, and I just love the family. I love all the characters. It's just a big, eclectic mix of characters, and my husband and I both come from big families, so I definitely could relate to Wilbur's family and that part where Lewis is saying like, "Oh, so and so is related to so and so, and so and so is related to so and so." Like that just reminds me of like when I met my husband's family, and I'm like, "Oh, who's this? Who's this? Like, who are your cousins? Who's your aunts? Who's your uncles?" So yeah, it's very relatable.
Yeah, I love that.
Nice.
The family is so fun and crazy. And you're like, wow, but I love this, but woo.
Right. Yeah. It definitely makes you appreciate your own family too. It's like, if they're this crazy, like my family isn't so bad, right?
Yeah. Although I don't think many people have a giant octopus as a butler.
Oh, that's true.
Or the two,
Exactly.
what were the two twins named? Dimitri and someone else? I forget.
Yeah, I forgot
ring my
that.
doorbell. No. Ring my doorbell.
And they just hide in the potted plants over there on the outside.
So silly.
All the characters are very eclectic. They each have their unusual twist about them or unusual characteristic. The one guy that's like a space cadet captain, who we think is a superhero, that is just a pizza delivery guy. But of course, the guy who his head is on backwards, according to him. So everything is like backwards to everybody else. But in the start of the movie, we see our main character Lewis, who is essentially this kid genius, this inventor, but he hasn't had the best luck with getting adopted. According to him, he had like 120 plus like adoption interviews, and like
that's a lot.
Everything has gone wrong, and we see the one other adoption interview, the only one he has during the movie before he gets adopted at the very end, and it unfortunately his invention got him in trouble, or didn't get him the result that he was hoping for, because unfortunately the husband of the couple had a peanut allergy. And I mean, how
it's a pretty cool invention, though. I gotta say,
yeah, I definitely want that.
Right? Yeah. So it's that peanut butter and jelly hat thing that you make. Yeah, it's the perfect ratio of peanut butter and jelly.
Yes. Yeah. I need that all the time because I make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like every day.
It's the stuff dreams are made of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately his invention blows up and gets peanut butter all over that one guy who has a huge reaction.
Mr.
He
Harrington.
blows up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Man. Yeah. I feel like they were pretty unfair to him, though. Like, as a kid, it didn't go well, but I don't know. They obviously only wanted I feel like the orphanage could have done a lot better job with screening. Like, hey, this kid he loves science. He's an inventor. Yeah. If that's your jam, come talk to this kid. If not, it's probably not going to work, you know?
Well, the husband of the couple, the Harringtons, Mr. Harrington, he's like, Lewis is going on about, like, I love inventing. And then it's like, oh, that's interesting. How do you what's your favorite sport?
Mm-hmm. Is science a sport?
It's like, well, and then that's where all that hilarity ensues. Mm-hmm. But while we're on the topic of adoption, Elisabeth, I'm reading your notes here regarding spiritual adoption, which is referred to in Galatians chapter 4. Can you give us a little bit more info about that, about what needs to be spiritually adopted?
So I saw a lot of parallels between Lewis and getting adopted, and then our adoption as children of God. And excuse me, let me just pull it up. So basically, in Galatians 4, it's talking about how we, before we were in Christ, we were like children. But we were slaves to the basic spiritual principles of this world. And then when we were adopted, when Christ came and rescued us and redeemed us, and we became co-heirs with him, then now we have access to everything that Christ has access to. So I feel like as I was watching the movie, like Lewis had so much potential, and if he just had the right people pouring into his life, he would, he'd be successful. And you see, like, that does happen. Versus his roommate, who he didn't have that put into him, and he let the bitterness and resentment kick in, and he wasn't successful. So it's just like since we have God in our lives, and since we are adopted by Him, like we have access, and we can be successful. We can have a blessed life like through Him. So that's what I was thinking of when I was watching the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that parallel of the spiritual adoption, and yeah, it kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier, particularly Goob's situation. So as we find out throughout the movie, the missing piece here of this information is that Lewis is Wilbur's dad. So Wilbur's the kid who like comes to get him, and Lewis, as it turns out, is his dad. And so it's his family that he's been interacting with this whole time, but in the future, he just hasn't received it yet. And then you've got Goob, who is the roommate, cute little kid, although he has some dark circles for a kid that's like 10 years old or however old he is.
Well, the Lewis will be keeping it up all night.
Well, now that is true. That is true.
This poor kid needed coffee.
Yeah, trading the juice box for the coffee that one day. That was funny. But yeah, he ends up letting all of that bitterness and resentment just fester, and really made some poor choices. Now I think, yeah, he definitely did not have anyone to really watch out for him, and yeah, to pour into him. He became so really gullible to the words of evil. And yeah, it's, and it's like, if only he have had more gratitude, to look at things a little bit differently. It's amazing how that one event of the baseball, not getting that, changed everything for him. That was like the deciding moment. And it does, I think, and it's such tiny moments that we either choose to hold on to and become, turn us into something that maybe we didn't think that we ever would be.
And I think that goes along with, who are you going to listen to? Like,
right.
Be cognizant of which voice you're listening to. Are you going to listen to the lies of the enemy, who are going to tell you, like, let it fester and don't let it go. You're going to grow to be a bowler hat guy if you do. Or are you going to listen to that still small voice saying, hey, you had a run in, you had a low point, it's going to get better. Just, grow from the experience and don't stay stuck there. Even when Lewis goes to the future, he's still really bent on, like, finding his mom. He's interacting with the family. Yeah, that's all well and good, but he's still thinking about that, that deal that he made with Wilbur, where he was like, hey, if you fix the time machine, I'll take you back to meet your mom. Where it comes out later that it's like, well, it's never actually going to do it. So he lied to Lewis. And just all this animosity that builds up kind of like between them in the very end, where Lewis also actually gets tricked into making another deal with Goob, the grown-up Goob, who's referred to as a bowler hat guy through all that time, into fixing his own invention to then have Goob basically sell to this investor to make the evil hat invention.
Dolores.
And Dolores. It just all goes awry. So it just shows us further, like, okay, what are you going to be focused on, and what are you missing in the here and now, or in this case, in the future. Rebecca, regarding a theme of family in this movie, it's like the trope of the found family kind of.
I think so. I mean, They literally find him and adopt him. So yeah, there's definitely that adoption, found family thing going on for the Meet the Robinsons. Yeah, it's really fun. I like that trope. It's a good one, you know. But yeah, what were your thoughts, Elizabeth?
So I do agree. It's found family sometimes is I feel like it's more like everybody's looking for a family and then they all come together. But I think that's kind of what happens anyway because it starts with Bud and his wife, and then they all kind of just come from that. Um, but yeah, I like that their family is like quick to adopt him even in the future. Like when the dinosaur was like attacking everybody, they were like so quick to help Lewis out. It's like, oh, Lewis is getting attacked. Like, let's go get him. It's like you just met him an hour ago, and you're ready to just like sacrifice your lives for him. So I thought that was a really awesome part of it too. The importance of again of community and of being there for each other and sacrificing for those you love. That was a good part too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because it's so true. They just like jumped up and started helping, and that was really neat. That was really neat to see, and like that's what family is. That's what family is supposed to be, and that's what community is supposed to be. And I know community is so important in in our Christian walk. It's so important. We got to have those people that are beside us, and even if it's not our, blood relatives or relatives family that we marry into, we can find that within our church family too, and that we can support each other through everything.
When you marry into a family as well, like when I met Rebecca's family, they're much louder than my family. So I've had to kind of learn to like acclimate with that and also be loud myself. So
yeah, speak up for yourself.
Yeah, I speak up for myself.
You do now.
A conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, you said, Elizabeth, that both of you and your husband have big families.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. We're both, I feel like his family's a little bit louder, but my family can get pretty fun too. I mean, we're all fun. Everybody's fun, but everybody, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I love all the different quirks. There's something really fun about having a big family. I think, and just like, I don't know, all being there. That's what I want anyway. In Josh and I's future, the big family, the crazy. I love the crazy. I kind of love a little chaos. Just saying.
Yes. Yeah, chaos is a lot of fun, especially on the holidays and stuff like that. It's fun to get everybody together, do all the different traditions and the memories too. Like now that I'm older, like I look back at all the times that I spent with my family and just like all the fun things we did. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's those traditions, the traditions that stick with you. Yeah, I was so, I don't know about your family, but I know our family was really intentional about traditions, which was really nice, really, really nice to have something each year to look forward to. Like for us, since we just got past, all the holidays and stuff, we didn't get to do it the same this year, but normally we do gingerbread over the Christmas season. And this year we ended up doing more of a cookie swap situation because our gingerbread creations could get a little intense.
Yes, I fully agree with that. We shared a couple pictures on our socials last year where you guys created a gingerbread ski resort.
Oh yeah, that was last year.
And it was a mountain made of Rice Krispies.
Oh my gosh, so many Rice Krispies.
And then white fondant to like simulate like snow and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you guys did the cordell. You guys did you made a gingerbread replica of your mom's house.
We did. That was, I think, my favorite gingerbread creation of all time. because growing up, it became just like, oh, fun, you do something. And then at some point when I think it was when I was in either middle school or high school, it turned into this is a competition. We need to like have judges to judge the competition of who has the best gingerbread house. And that was fun. And then we were like, let's not make it a competition. Why don't we all work together and create something amazing? How about that? But yeah, so I love those fun traditions that we do. Did you have any fun traditions that stand out to you, Elizabeth?
So one thing that we used to do a lot when I was younger, we actually talked about maybe doing again next year. We used to go, so I'm actually in New York. We used to go up to Vermont to this place and visit Santa. And afterwards we would go and we'd stop at the Yankee Candle Factory and make candles. And that would be like our Christmas gifts for everybody. So yeah, so that was fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that like right after Thanksgiving. We would do that.
Nice.
Nice.
It reminds me of the Patty Wax in Nashville, where the last company I worked for, we did like a team outing, and it was fun to like make a this candle and have a little container and
Yeah, you get to like choose your scents. Is that right?
yeah, you do.
Did you get to do that at the Yankee Candle Factory?
So what we did like you could color them. So they give you like a blank, they have different molds. You can get just like a plain stick or you can get different shapes and you dip them in the wax, like the different colored wax. And I don't think it had a scent actually, but it looked nice. And those were our Christmas gifts. I loved giving them to people. So.
Nice. Okay, so they were like the tall candlesticks. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We made them like different rainbow colors and stuff. It was fun.
Fun. That's super exciting.
Homemade Christmas gifts, they just have a certain allure about them, a certain charm. I remember,
love homemade Christmas gifts.
Yeah, because we made what was it, elderberry? Like we got these like bottles and
elderberry syrup.
Yeah.
That was 2020. I was like,
oh yeah, and perfect time for it.
Well, it was. That was why we did it.
You had the time and the space for it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That I think one year we did little bottles of vanilla for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Vanilla extract. I mean, not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, which is super easy. It's literally just vodka and vanilla beans. You you scrape out the seeds from vanilla beans, and then you stick the whole thing, the seeds and the whole bean, and just let it soak for like months.
Yeah.
And then it extracts all of the vanilla flavor. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So that's it. Any extract is that way. So if you want to make like a lemon extract, or you could take like lemon peels and stick it in vodka, or if you wanted to do anything, that's how you make an extract. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Great.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. I'll start preparing for next year.
Yeah.
For next Christmas.
Exactly. Start now.
Yeah.
Well, getting off the traditions, going back just a little bit. Let's talk about the main message of the movie just a little bit, which is keep moving forward. And Elizabeth, you had a reference to Philippians regarding that.
Yes. Yeah. So it's basically it's forgetting what is behind and clinging towards what is ahead. I press on towards the goal, and I feel like that relates to Lewis just because he lets go of the past that he left. He had a lot of obviously trauma in his past from his mom just leaving him on the step. And of course the rejections of the over 120, interviews he went on that didn't work out. So he had to let go of all that and keep moving forward. And you see in the movie, like what he created, like he made that whole city, like that was him, he was the inventor in that. So it just is amazing to know, like, when you have your eyes set on the future and like you let go of the past and you just focus your eyes on Christ and like what he has for us, like what we can accomplish. So I love Lewis's imagination. Like I feel like, God gave us those imaginations. Like I feel like we're capable of doing the same things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. After watching the movie, it reminded me a lot on the same lines as what you were just talking about. Not only focusing on the future, but also how many times do we get so stuck in the moment and in what's happened before. And we're like, it's never going to change. Nothing's ever going to change. It's the waiting period, if you will. If you're waiting for a spouse, if you're waiting for kids, if you're waiting for whatever it is to happen, a family, to be adopted, to all of those things, we can get so bogged down in the negative that we can't even see a way forward. We can't move forward. And it just reminded me, like, that thing that you're waiting for and that you've prayed for and that you're hoping for could be like just around the corner. I mean, when Lewis went back to that science fair, it wasn't, but if he had have stayed there and lived out his life, like, he already met his new mom. Like, he already met her and he didn't even know it at the time. And how many times do we, can we get stuck in something and God's like, hey, I've got what I've promised you, like, right here. Just hold on. Keep fighting the good fight, hold out just a little bit longer. And I've got something amazing for you. So that was one of the things that I thought about after watching the movie.
So often we get stuck in a rut and we focus on, well, we got to get this done. I'm in this state now, so I can't really, I can't move past this point until I accomplish, whatever. Where really it's when you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, where you realize, you've got to keep, you can't stay stagnant. You got to keep inching and keep moving, moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah. Because Rebecca, you're right, and Elizabeth, you're right as well, both of you. Just in that, we cannot fathom what God has, planned for us, after this life, and we need to spend this time, building that kingdom and laying up those treasures in there, and to truly have an amazing and bright future.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I wish I could remember what verse it actually is, but I'm pretty sure it's in 1 Corinthians, like 1 Corinthians 10 something, 10:13. Is that right? I don't know. But anyway, it's talking about no eye has seen, no ear has heard, the wonderful things that God has planned for you and like put in your path. That's what it reminds me of. I wish I could remember exactly where that is. Is it in 1 Corinthians or maybe 2nd?
I think it is 1 Corinthians. It might be 1 Corinthians 2. Let me just check. I have my phone right here.
I know, right? It's going to drive me crazy.
It's chapter 2, verse 9. It says, that is what the scriptures mean when they say, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him.
What's before that? What is it saying before? I don't think I've ever paid attention.
Let's see. Okay, but just so you know, I'm reading from the NLT, the New Living Translation. It just says, so this is in verse 8, but the rulers of this world have not understood it. If they have, they would not have crucified our glorious Lord. And it is the wisdom, the wisdom of this, the wisdom of Christ. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're specifically talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so true. And I think how many of the Jewish people had been waiting for so long. Talk about a waiting period. Woo, that's a long time to wait for the Messiah. But God's like, just hold on. You cannot fathom what is coming. It's so good. Just hold on.
Yeah.
But I think he does the same thing for us too when we're waiting,
So I want us to go around and kind of see, and hopefully our answers are different. One of your favorite scenes from the movie.
Oh gosh.
And
there's too many.
Oh, so you don't want
just
to go
one?
First?
Oh, I can go first. Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
cool.
Yeah, right. Just one.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one that pops in my mind. There's so many amazing moments. The first one that pops into mind though is the T-Rex, where he's like, But he's like, why aren't you getting the boy? And he's like, well, my head's so big and my arms are so small, and I'm just not sure this plan was really thought out very well. One of my favorite It's such a quotable movie in general. And maybe that was like, I don't know, the time in my life when I watched it. But that's one of my favorite parts.
I love a couple of the scenes I like is I love when Bud is he's trying to get Lewis back to the garage, and he ends up meeting other relatives, and just so many one-liners. Like, why is your dog wearing glasses? Well, his insurance won't pay for contacts. And
It's a matter of fact.
yeah, and I don't know if this is double entendre or something, but he's like, oh, well, my wife is baking cookies in the kitchen. He opens the door and she's like, John, and it's like, they're thin cookies, Lucille.
Yeah, that's got to be a double meaning.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
she was baking them.
Is that what it means? Like, maybe that's like a baking the cookies is dancing.
Something.
And also baking cookies in the kitchen? Like actual cookies?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also love Franny, who is Lewis's wife and Wilder's mom. And just the whole like jazz number with the frogs. I really enjoyed that.
You do love the jazz music.
I do. All right, Elizabeth.
Well, that was two. So
yeah, right.
No,
I guess that's what.
There were one big scene.
One sequence. Yeah. Okay, I take it back.
What we call a long shot in the film industry.
Oh, I see.
Oh, it's good to know. Yeah, I have a tie between the two of them, but the one I love the most was when he is, when Cornelius, which is Lewis's new name, and Lewis are like talking to each other. And okay, I'm even like gonna cry just thinking about it, because he was like, he said like, this is the invention I'm most proud of, and he like has the time machine thing that, the thing that Lewis made, and he's like, what, this piece of junk, what are you talking about? And he said, no, this is my first ever invention, the first thing that worked. And he's like, wait, it worked? Like, he's like, now you gotta go back and see what happened. So it was just, I love that part. That was my favorite part. I was like just getting choked up looking, watching that whole thing happen.
Oh, I know. Yeah, well, it's such a fun, happy movie.
It is.
Yeah. I was mentioning this when we watched it last night. It's such a fun, happy movie, and you're exciting, and the family's crazy, and you're like, oh, yay. And then you get to the end, and it hits you in the feels, and you're like, crying. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, they know how to tug at your heartstrings. Well, the song that's put behind it, and
yes, yeah. That song really makes it even worse. You're like, wow, you really punched me in the face there. Appreciate that.
Get the tissues. Yeah.
Gosh, we haven't experienced that since Grave of the Fireflies. Ugh,
that was a lot.
That was a lot. Oh gosh. Well, that is your introductory for Meet the Robinsons. Again, it's available on Disney Plus if you subscribe to that. Also, it's just a fun, wholesome movie. One of the better Disney movies I've seen that came out in the what was it, 2007. 2007. Yep. Oh, you graduated high school.
You graduated. I wasn't.
Yeah. But yeah, so definitely would recommend it. It's always a good watch. It has a great message, especially for those who have been adopted, who are going through the adoption process. So I'd highly recommend it. We also want to thank our guest, Elisabeth Warner, for being with us today. Again, it was a pleasure having you on. If people want to follow you and stay up to date with what you're up to, how can they follow you?
So I'm most active on Instagram. It's Elisabeth Warner _author. You can also just check out my author page. It's elisabethwarner.com. And just so people know, my name is spelled with an S. It's Elisabeth, and then Warner.com.
That is different. If you hadn't have said that, I would have been like, oh, I'd use a Z.
Well, we all hope you are having a great start off to 2024. Again, feels weird saying that, but we're here. Until next time, keep those halos shiny and stay all in, my friends.